empirical than philosophy and more focused on the mind than physiology. In the 1870s, he created the first experimental psychological laboratory and wrote his huge work, Principles of Psychological Psychology. As Wundt is read today only by those with a specialized interest, he is not included in the list of classics. American philosopher William James, 1842 to 1910, however, also considered a founding father of modern psychology, is still widely read. The brother of novelist Henry James, he trained in medicine and then transferred to philosophy, but like Wundt, felt that the workings of the mind deserved to be a separate field of study. Building on a theory by German neuroanatomist Franz Gall that all thoughts and mental processes were biological, James helped to spread the remarkable idea that one's self, with all its hopes, loves, desires, and fears, was contained in the soft gray matter within the walls of the skull. Explanations of thought as the product of some deeper force, such as the soul, he felt, were really the realm of metaphysics. James may have helped define the parameters of psychology, but it was Sigmund Freud's writings that really made it a subject of interest to the general public. Freud was born 150 years ago, in 1856. His parents knew he was bright, but even they could not have imagined the impact his ideas would have on the world. On leaving school, he was set to study law, but changed his mind at the last minute and enrolled in medicine. His work on brain anatomy, and with patients suffering from hysteria, led him to wonder about the influence of the unconscious mind on behavior, which sparked his interest in dreams. Today, it is easy to take for granted how much the average person is familiar with psychological concepts, such as the ego and the unconscious mind. But these and many others are all, for better or worse, Freud's legacy. Well over half the titles covered in 50 psychology classics are either by Freudians or post-Freudians, or mark themselves out by being anti-Freud. It is now fashionable to say that Freud's work is unscientific, and his writings literary creations rather than real psychology. Whether this is accurate or not, he remains far and away the most famous person in the field, and although psychoanalysis, the talking therapy he created to peep into a person's unconscious, is now much less practiced, the image of a Viennese doctor drawing out the deepest thoughts of his couch-lying patient is still the most popular image we have when thinking of psychology. As some neuroscientists have intimated, Freud may be due for a comeback. His emphasis on the major role of the unconscious in shaping behavior has not been proved wrong by brain imaging techniques and other research, and some of his other theories may yet be validated. Even if not, his position as psychology's most original thinker is not likely to change. The reaction to Freud came most obviously in the form of behaviorism. Ivan Pavlov's famous experiments with dogs, which showed that animals were simply the sum of their conditioned responses to environmental stimuli, inspired behaviorism's leading exponent, B.F. Skinner, who wrote that the idea of the autonomous person driven by an inner motive was a romantic myth. Instead of trying to find out what goes on inside a person's head, mentalism, to know why people act as they do, Skinner suggested all we need to know is what circumstances cause them to act in a certain way. Our environments shape us into what we are, and we change the course of our actions according to what we learn is good for our survival. If we want to construct a better world, we need to create environments that make people act in more moral or productive ways. To Skinner, this involved a technology of behavior that rewards certain actions and not others. Emerging in the 1960s, cognitive psychology used the same rigorous scientific approach as behaviorism, but returned to the question of how behavior is actually generated inside the head. Between the stimulation received from the environment and our response, certain processes had to occur inside the brain, and cognitive researchers revealed the human mind to be a great interpreting machine that made patterns and created.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.